Hi there, this is Prague Talk, a podcast from Radio Prague International. My name is Ian Willoughby. My guest this time is somebody I'm happy to have got to know a little bit in recent years, the well-known Czech actress Zuzana Stivínová. Most commonly to be found these days on the boards of the National Theatre in Prague, Zuzana earlier played one of the main roles in the stage version of Václav Havel's Leaving in 2007. She's also worked with such great screen directors as Věra Chytilová and Miloš Forman, and starred in the acclaimed TV drama Wasteland. And I spoke to Zuzana Stivínová for this edition of Prague Talk. Your father Jiří is a famous flautist, your siblings are musicians, you sing also, but still, what drew you to the acting profession?
I am from a musical family, yes. My father is actually multi-instrumentalist, so I started also play the cello when I was young. I didn't have to, I wanted to, so I wasn't forced. But I actually always wanted to be an actress and a singer. I always wanted to be on the stage. Also, like, my passion was something about fashion and costumes, but I am unable to draw, I'm unable to, so I actually decided to perform.
Were you a kid who would show off a lot?
I think I was very extravagant, always loud, and it was quite natural to be on the stage for me, yes.
As I say, your dad is famous. Did you, as a kid, get to meet lots of significant people through him?
Well, my father is famous now. We can say he is a legend, living legend. But when I was a kid, he wasn't actually famous because jazz wasn't, wasn't a popular music. So he wasn't on TV, or people didn't really recognize him. People mostly went to his concerts. But his friends were amazing. So I was growing up surrounded by Bolek Polívka, and I really like the best performers from Czechoslovakia. Also, once I went home and there was a tall, beautiful man, and it was a journalist from Melodie, which was you still know Melodie, it's a music magazine, and it was actually Richard Miller, who was doing interview with my father. And then later he became famous, of course, we know him all, but I was surrounded by special people, really.
You were, I believe, 16 at the time of the revolution. I guess that was a pretty great age to be at for those events.
It was amazing. I was the first or second, we didn't have to graduate from Russian language, which was amazing because I didn't learn anything. We were forced to speak Russian, so when you're forced to do something, you hate it, of course. Now I feel sorry because sometimes I would like to speak because I love the language, but I didn't learn anything. But the time around and after the revolution was really the best, yes.
And you got to experience legendary 90s Prague.
And you came? Yes.
I was here from 92, 93.
Every family had somebody who spoke English because we wanted to quickly learn English. So we all had some friends from Canada, from England, or, from USA. And that's how we met, probably, somewhere in the pub.
Yeah, I think we met at some kind of social events. Maybe I also saw you at Carlo Vivari.
Definitely, yes. And it was really a great time. And also, I was lucky enough to be around people, around Václav Havel, and because he was always involved in the theatre, I played in his play Leaving later, but I also did, it was the play after the revolution, I cannot remember now, in Realistické divadlo, which is not Realistické divadlo anymore, it's Švandovo. So I also played in his plays, yes.
Well, you studied in Prague at the conservatory.
Yes.
Since then you've worked at many of the city's theatres, but who are some of the actors who you worked with who made the most impact on you, or maybe even who you enjoyed spending time with the most?
I really had an amazing relationship with Vlasta Chramostová. She was my close friend until the last days. I was starting my career and she was again playing theatre because she couldn't.
She was banned
before. Yes. So we actually were together in the National Theatre like 30 years ago. Then I left, but then I came back and we worked together again, which was lovely.
And Zuzana, what do you regard as the kind of main turning points or biggest steps in your career so far?
I always was prepared. I learned other lines, other parts in the plays, and usually somebody got sick or pregnant and I stepped in. So actually my biggest role was actually, yes, Leaving. In the Leaving, written by Václav Havel, I stepped in instead of Dáša Havlova, which is bizarre because Václav wrote it for her. But then it was 12 days before the opening night and we had to finish it. So I did it. It was kind of, they didn't think about me for the role, but then it was actually great that I did it because I played the part. It was kind of, better than it was when it was Dáša. It was too confusing for the audience. And I think it was kind of something new, something you feel you're growing up and you finally can play a part, somebody who is totally different than you are. It's a challenge for an actor. I loved it, actually.
The director of Leaving at the Theatre Arca was, I believe, David Radok.
David Radok, yes.
For you, what's the perfect director? What's the kind of director you most like to work with, either in theatre or on screen projects?
I really do like demanding directors. I mean, Věra Chytilová, Jan Němec, Pitínsky in the theatre, or David was very demanding, and I actually like it. I like to do what directors want. I like to create new characters. I don't want to just do naturally what I think is right. I like to create new forms. I like actually methodical directing. Some actors don't, but I do. So these people I said, of course, also now I work with Majo Amsler, which is beautiful collaboration also in the National Theatre. And yes, I like big tasks.
Would it make you uncomfortable if a director didn't give you any feedback or any notes or anything? Some directors just choose the person they think should play the part and then stand back.
This is actually something I spoke about with Stellan Skarsgård this summer, because we both worked with Miloš Forman. So I asked him how was it, and he actually said because Miloš Forman always said that 95% of the success is the cast. So he cast you, and he doesn't tell you and not much, because he thinks it's your job. So it's also a way. And also Stellan said he was always talking about food. Was it with you the same? And I said, yes, he actually was always talking about food. And when Natalie Portman, I think, asked him when they were shooting Goya's, she was like, can you please tell me something about the part? And he was like, what do you want to know? What do you want to know? I cast you, you play it, and when is the dinner? It was the only thing he was in.
But how was it in general working with Forman? I guess that was the last film that he made. It was a film of a stage play, and he was probably in his 70s.
I actually, it was on the stage, what we did together, Dobře placená procházka. I really cannot translate it.
It's
now.
Called A Walk Less Something in English.
Exactly.
I forget the title myself.
Written by Suchý Šlitr. It's a jazz opera, and we did it on the stage of Kaplička, of the old National Theatre. And it was something special because he already allowed himself to be, how to say it, like pathetic, and he loved it. It was like his goal to be once in the National Theatre.
Well, speaking of the National Theatre, you had a previous stint there. Now you're back full-time for like 5 or 6 years, I believe. How is it working there compared to other Prague theatres? And just what's it like going there every evening or afternoon or whatever you do?
I really love old theatres, so I don't have many choices. I really want to be in the National Theatre and play in these old houses. So for me, it's hard to play sometimes in the cinema, because there are now theatres created from former movie theatres. they're not bad, but the acoustic and, the space is different. So I will stick with the National Theatres as much as I can. And always when I open the golden door, I always tell to myself how lucky I am.
And what about theatre versus film work, TV? Is either of them more comfortable for you?
I totally love the theatre life. Like, I like the creation. I love the when nobody sees us, so we work in the empty National Theatre. It's always lovely atmosphere. But I also like the lights. So sometimes I like to have a movie. I go to Karlovy Vary Film Festival and present it. It's a different world. I never compare it. I always take it as a particular job. It always depends who is directing it, who is in it. And I actually like to mix it. I like both. I kind of relax. It's more intimate actually for me to stay on the stage of the National Theatre than have a camera in my face, which is strange. Some people would say it's opposite, but you can hide behind the camera. You can work with the camera. It's like your body, and on the stage you're really naked. So it's kind of, I like to mix it, yes.
And is it hard to switch from one to the other? Because people say that theatre actor is bigger and film acting is it's more subtle.
I would really say it's a question of technique. You just speak a little, like not that loud. It's not about switching something. I think that it's either good or bad. That's what I would say. Of course, there are some differences, but I don't think it's difficult. I do it so long. I am very often behind the camera, only do voiceovers. I work with people with blind problems, with vision problems. So I do audio descriptions. Sometimes you really have to your ego has to go out and you only comment what's in the movie for people to actually see what's in the movie. And so I actually know all these versions, I suppose. And I think Czech directors think I can be too much for the camera, but I think Ivan Zachariáš proved that I can be enough in the Wasteland. He let me just to be natural, not to be loud, also in the emotions. And I think it was a masterpiece from Ivan.
And that's, I guess, one of the greatest ever Czech TV series.
Is it still?
I think so.
I hope, yes.
You also do stuff like audiobooks.
Yes.
You told me earlier you're between projects, but how do you balance everything? You've got 2 kids, you do all kinds of different work. How do you organize your life?
Well, I go to tennis lessons. This is what I love to do in between jobs. So I have my sport, and I kind of always have to get into the good shape because while I am shooting or performing or rehearsing, I usually don't have time to go work out. So I kind of use my free time to learn, to do the research and to go to tennis lessons, which I love. I would go every day if I could. And then I kind of have to do can do my art, yes.
About tennis, did you come to tennis later in life or did you play
yes.
also younger?
I was always a super fan. I was once even 1990, I waited 15 hours to get a ticket for Wimbledon in London to see Martina Navrátilová to win her last Wimbledon in singles. And I was always obsessed with tennis as from the audience side, but now I really play. I have 3 coaches and I am really serious about it.
3 coaches?
Yes.
But one is for
one is
serve?
Not enough. No, I am a member of Sokol Vršovice, where I have amazing coach, Mr. Jaroslav Pilát. And then I have coaches in Olšanka, and I go with friends to Štvanice as well.
And do you take part in competitions or is it more with friends?
Yes, we actually have a Public Interest Tennis Cup. It's gonna be the 7th year this year. Once I won it, it's in doubles, so I had a friend to win it.
Public Interest is a bar, no?
It is a bar co-owned by Ivan Zachariáš. So that's actually how it started, that we had Pustina Tennis Cup. It didn't went well, it was... I couldn't organize it well, so the guys did public interest, and we even have sponsors, and it's really big.
About film in particular, how do you choose your roles? Because a lot of your colleagues, I have to be honest, good actresses, good actors, they do some wonderful movies, and then they do pretty low-quality comedies in particular, and I sometimes think, why are they doing this? But you don't seem to take on those kind of crazy comedy roles.
And it sounds nice. How do you choose? I wish to choose. I wish to have like 5 scripts at home and choose. Usually you don't have this luxury. You have one collaboration you speak about with the director or with, producers. I don't think I have many options. So I usually only have to say yes or no. It's not like I have to, balance and pick, this is more arty, this is more commercial. But I think it's, what do you ask for? It usually comes. So I think it's also collaboration, that some people know that I wouldn't do this anyway, so they don't even ask me. So I think it's natural. But of course, I think Czech actors really, work in the theater is really hard, and not, you don't do it for money in Czech Republic, unfortunately. So you really have to, sometimes it's not a good project, but you do it because you have to feed your family.
You had a small role in the Netflix movie Spaceman, and I'm pretty sure I met you one time at a casting agency. Do you get much international work?
Oh, because I don't have an agent in London, I usually only get, they call it locals. So they cast it from London or, and then the locals, that's what we are, we get the smaller parts, but usually it's only like 1-2 sentences and, or without speaking. So it actually, maybe I could get an agent in London. It would be lovely, actually, yes.
Speaking of London, where did you get your great English accent?
Oh, come on. My boys, my sons are always laughing when I'm talking. I'm very promiscuous, as you say, in English, because it depends who you are talking to. Because I even speak with Indian accent or Italian, if I speak with Italians or Indians. So it depends.
And did you have an American accent when you lived in New York?
I don't think so, actually. I never get it, but my boys are New Yorkers, actually. Yes, they speak with this.
Well, you spent 7 years in New York around the first half of the 2010s. Your husband, Lukáš, is a molecular biologist, and he was working there. You lived even in Manhattan. How was it going from your busy career and social life in Prague to this whole other environment of New York?
It's New York, so it's not a small village, it's a big village. But I have to, say we were a Czech household, so I always spoke Czech at home with the boys because I didn't want them to lose it, to be, awkward when they come back to Prague, and I didn't want them to have an accent. So I was forcing them. Now I am happy, but they hated me, of course. But I have to say, I found villages, East Village in New York. It's something you're part of. It was my New York. I say my New York. At the time we lived there, I really knew people by names. I love the city, actually. And I will always love it, even if it's different now. It's not my New York anymore. But it will always be a place where my children grew up. So I kind of have a very, sentiment with it.
And after 7 years, especially also considering the ages of your boys at the time, was it hard for you and your family to readjust to living full-time again in this country?
For me, it was, of course, easy because I came back and I started to do Pustina, the Wasteland, and I started to work in the theater. So it was my environment, something I knew very well. I was just waiting for. And for the boys, I think, was the transition from New York to Czech Republic harder than from Czech Republic to New York, because they were very small when we moved there. I think they now know what it was about and how important it was. But I think it was tough for them, to move from New York City, to Prague, where everybody was angry. People were usually, like, you cannot really do small talks and, your people are always, just like, so I think we had to get used to it, but we have a luxury. We are already surrounded by such a great people and we have friends here and families. So we are safe, yeah.
I read a previous interview with you where you said that you like small talk, which seems most unusual, especially for Czech people.
I love small talk. I always loved small talk. But I am very communicative. So I am on the bus and I even know the name of the bus driver and I speak with them about their daughters. But some people don't, of course. And when I just, smile at somebody, they usually think I am smiling because it's awkward or funny. They are very suspicious. Czechs are very suspicious, You know that. You had to integrate.
Well, I got used to living here. Now, of course, I like Czech people, but it took a while for me to warm to them. Yes.
You're Irish, and Czechs and Irish people, we are very similar. We have some kind of similar sense of humor. We like to drink. We are sarcastic. It's different.
It's hard to argue with any of those things. My final question, Zuzana, is if there's anything you'd like to still achieve in your career or anything you'd like to do that you haven't tried yet or anything like that?
I would only recommend young directors not to be afraid to ask me to work with them. And I would like to actually work on new characters and create new roles, like even somebody who is not similar to Zuzana Stivínová, somebody who is totally different. That's what I am actually looking forward to do, different things than I did until now. That's it, probably.
Many thanks indeed to Zuzana Stivínová for speaking to me for this edition of Prague Talk, a podcast from Radio Prague International. If you're new to the pod and enjoyed our chat, why not look up some of the scores of earlier conversations in the series and subscribe wherever you get podcasts. But for now, that's all from me, Ian Willoughby. Thank you so much for listening to Prague Talk and talk to you again very soon.